Hello, everyone. Welcome to Keller Williams One Chicago podcast. My name is LaDweena Smith, and I am the CEO here at Keller Williams One Chicago. Just a brief little bit about myself. I've been licensed since 2006. Started in the industry as an agent and kind of worked my way up to get into the role that I am now, which I absolutely love. And I am sitting here today with Julie here, who's going to introduce herself, one half of the Dorger McCarthy group, top team at Keller Williams One Chicago. We're going to dig in a little bit about their business and just how they've built the business. And so welcome, and just stay tuned.
Great. I'm Julie Dorger. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I've been in the business 22 years. And I've worked with my partner, Sarah McCarthy, and it's a great business. We have loved being in it, and we love being here at Keller Williams. Feel very supported in the industry, and a great fit and model for the way that we run our business.
22 years.
22 years, isn't that crazy?
22 years.
I know.
Oh God, yeah.
And
that's
interestingly
great.
enough, we've only been with two brokerages, throughout that time. And I think, agent-wise, out in the marketplace, sometimes people do a little bit of moving around, but we haven't. But Keller Williams is definitely, we found our home, and we're very happy here.
Awesome. So you and Sarah started business in Chicago, brand new, right?
Brand new.
Brand new. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we were coming out of another industry and knew we didn't necessarily want to be and call it a corporate environment. Knew we kind of wanted to work for ourselves, the independent contractor platform, that sort of thing. And my family actually has been in the real estate business, or was in the real estate business. My dad was a builder, and my mom got into the business as a managing broker, and then also did sales as well. So kind of grew up with it on my side, and just knew that it was a business that we should explore. So we both got licensed, and just kind of found our way through it and got in it back in 2004. Really kind of took us a while to kind of get ourselves going. We kind of phased out of the other industry that we were in, and really became full-time, really kind of going at it in 2006. And we have not looked back.
I don't think I knew that. So we came into the business right around the same time.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I got started in 2006 as well.
Yeah.
And
which we thought was going to be the height of the market of all time, but not anymore.
it was great. Like
Yeah.
when I first started, it was amazing.
Yes.
It was great. I was like, okay, this is kind of good, until it wasn't.
Yes, I know. Well, exactly. Well, we've had our highs and lows, but it's interesting. We say, had we come into it sooner and had that just feast that it was at that time, market-wise, I think starting at a complete high and then riding the wave down wasn't so much in 2006. We got kind of a taste of it, but it really made us kind of dig in, I think, differently in the way we ran our business, other than had we started earlier than that. But when I look back over the course of our career, we've been in a lot of different markets, and I think it's kind of helped shape the way we run our business. But I think we've proven too that you can be successful in any market. The market doesn't dictate your success. I think it's just the way you approach it and the way you operate in it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. I learned so much during that time. And for those of you who are wondering, just look, go Google or chat or whatever it is, what was happening in real estate between, let's say, 2006 and 2009, and you'll know exactly what it is we're talking about. And so, so you guys got started doing open houses, right? Which I absolutely love. I also built my business when I was selling on open houses. My absolute favorite way to lead generate.
Right.
Yep.
No, it was great. And we went all in with it. We both, between the two of us, did 8 open houses every weekend. And
Wait, 8 in a weekend?
8 in a weekend. We each would do, two. She would do 2 on Saturday. I would do 2. Yeah. 8 between the two of us. and we were working. We didn't have business at the time, so we were working open houses for other people.
Same.
Which was
Yep.
great, and it's a great way to do it because agents that have a lot of business can't be at every open house. So
Yeah.
they're always looking for people to to work it. But you kind of found your style, you found your voice. You learned a lot from other agents coming through with buyers. It was a great way, and we were committed to coming out of the weekend, Saturday night, and then on Sunday night communicating with anybody that you'd met, because we felt like a lot of times agents would wait till Monday to do their follow-up, and we wanted to be the first ones in the inbox. And we felt like if you came away with one conversation from every open house, then it was a win.
Yeah.
And you just have to be patient. We kind of describe our start in the business that we really took a grassroots effort at it. I think sometimes agents now they want instant gratification,
Right now.
instant sales, instant big database, big producing. It doesn't come that way. I think
Yeah.
you have to put in your time. You got to put in. You have to get in relationship with people, and that doesn't happen overnight. And if it does happen overnight, then you're a transactional agent.
That's it. That's exactly correct. I'm glad you said that because I think that's one of the biggest coaching points for me when I'm talking to agents, especially new agents, where they want it right now.
Right.
Like they want it instantly, and I think it's just the time that we're in. However, even if you look at some of the agents that are on social media that are getting their business, and you actually talk to them, even that was a buildup. That didn't happen overnight.
Right.
They built it over
Right.
years to, like you said, forming those relationships to get into a relation with those people so that they can trust them.
Right.
To transact with them.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
so it was, it was great. Open houses was a great start for us. We did first-time home buyer seminars.
I remember those.
And which were great. And you maybe had 25 people come, and maybe you'd walk out with one or two people conversing, but over the course of sometimes 3-4 years, you'd hear from some people that they call you up and say, I came to your first time home buyer seminar a couple years ago, I now have my down payment money, I'm ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So now you both have determined what your your core clients are, or your core client group, I'll say.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. What does it look like?
Yeah, we are, I would say, now I would say we're 100% referral based. Everybody that we kind of work with comes from somebody that we know, whether it's someone that we've worked with in the past, clients that we've worked with several times over the years. And I think obviously everybody, you speak to this probably all the time, but you got to stay in touch with people. You got to stay in touch. And if you do, they come back to you. And once, we met people at open houses, maybe coming out of rentals, first-time home buyers. That was kind of our sweet spot. We were willing to give the time to handhold those people. And over the course of the years, when they come to you again, they're selling a place because they're going to buy something else. And then, each time then it becomes 2 deals. And it's just, helping them transition it. It's an emotional thing when you're buying. It's even more emotional when you're buying and you're selling at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. The fortune's in the follow-up.
Yes.
Right? We say it sounds cliche. People say it all the time. However, it's true. The fortune is in the follow-up. Very rarely are you going to reach out to that person, and say, hey, are you looking to buy, sell, and invest in real estate? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Right? That happens, but it doesn't happen as often. It's the follow-up, the calls and the text messages and the emails and the client events, which we'll talk about because you guys do some amazing client events. However, the fortune is definitely, I agree 100% in the follow-up.
Well, and I love seeing that you guys are bringing the personal notes back.
I just wrote them. I wrote 10 personal notes today.
Nobody gets personal notes.
Yes.
Nobody gets mail anymore, and it stands out.
Yeah.
And so I think that's an avenue of communication that, you have to know who your audience is and, how they receive text, email, a Facebook comment, whatever, but the personal notes work for everybody. Everybody's got a home address.
Everybody's got it. Oh my goodness, yeah. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the buildup, right? So you said that the majority of your business right now is referral based, right? And that's
Yes.
where most people want to get to, where
Right.
you don't have to necessarily, I shouldn't say pick up the phone, because you still are, but it's a
We
little
do.
bit of a different
Yep.
approach. So you started with the open houses, and then you just started building your database from the open houses. Like, what did that look like?
We did, and we really took, and we still to this day have this approach, and it has definitely been our mantra, 100%, in that we are very service based. We focus on the service of our clients first, and if we feel, and I think we have it, if you provide the service first, the sales will come. If you nail the service, you don't have to worry about the sales. So I think it's this mentality, what is there anything that I can do for you? It's not always property driven, or it's not maybe somebody's doing real estate or whatever, but you're going to reach out to people at a time when maybe they're not looking, or you're just trying to stay in touch. And we've always leaned into talking to someone on the phone, just being like, I just drove by, your property or whatever, and made me think of you. Hope you guys are doing well. Is there anything I can do for you?
That's great.
And sometimes it's coming back and it's like, we need to get a couple rooms painted. Do you know somebody? We need to, we're thinking about renovating a bathroom. Do you have any names of somebody? So become the resource.
Yes.
And so that they just continue to come back to the well for that. And then when it's time for them to do something, buy or sell, they're going to call you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. So now that you've gotten the business to the point where it is referral based, it's mostly referral based. How do you keep it fresh? Like, I know they say success is simple, right? Not easy.
Yeah.
How do you keep it fresh as far as client appreciation events, or just, mixing it up a little bit so it's not just, the same old mundane?
Yeah. And it's funny, we actually do we do some of the events over and over again, but we have a very charity focused approach.
I want you to talk about
Yes.
Yes.
We do a boot drive, every holiday, and we've probably done it for 16, 17 years. But we invite our clients to get involved in that with us. And they show up for it, and they come out. And, it's just great to be alongside them in that capacity as well. But I think it's just trying to stay current in people's lives. Everybody's so busy. I do think, you're calling, you're texting, you're staying in touch that way, but social media too, you can garner a lot about what's going on in people's lives. And I think you're just staying in the flow with people. And that, comes with consistency. You can't stop doing it for a year or so and then get back in the flow with people. So it's like you're better off keeping contact with people, keeping that service approach, doing events. You invite everybody, and I think we try to do events where not everybody's going to be able to come because lives are busy. But we do an ice cream social, back to school type thing every September. We know we're not going to get everybody. We probably get 100 people that show up. We do it at Jenny's Ice Cream over in Wrigley. But everyone's been invited. So everybody feels, they would like me to be there. Unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah. And that's what we talk about a lot when we're sitting in the note cards and doing what we call a 36 touch, and making sure that you're connecting with your people at least 36 times in a year. And they appreciate just being invited.
They do.
They appreciate just being invited. Everyone is not going to be able to come. And if you have a situation where you invite, let's say your database is 500 people, and you invite 500 people to an event, and all 500 people want to attend,
it's going to be a problem for you.
It's going to be an amazing problem.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but no, how many people do you have in your database, roughly?
We're probably around that 500, 5 to 550.
So 100 people at an ice cream event is amazing. That's a 20%, where most people are not getting anywhere close to that. So yeah, awesome.
And it's easy for people to come by. And when we do the follow-up, we're calling people and just to remind them whatever. And we also always do kind of a little charitable piece to that. So either we do a book drive, or I think Common Pantry is going to be our charity this year, that, you know, people come with something, you know, you take ice cream away, or, you know, you visit, you have that time together, but you leave something behind for something good too, which is great. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I think that's one of the things that I love the most about your team, and how you have made sure to add that community involvement
Yes.
in it. I absolutely love it. You mentioned the boot drive.
Yes.
And so I don't want to kind of just skate over that, because I want the people to know.
Yes.
Because it is
an amazing event.
It's an amazing event. And I remember the first time when I first got here and you guys were doing it, and I'm looking around, and we're in a room, probably, you know, maybe not as big as, but half the size of this room. And I'm like, what are all these shoes and boots and coats and things? Like, what is all this stuff? There had to be hundreds.
Yes. Yeah.
Hundreds.
It's
That's
great.
a big deal.
It is a big deal. And honestly, it's our clients and friends and family that show up and do that. We really just organize it. McCutcheon Elementary in Uptown has been the school that we do this for every year. 50%, I think, of their population comes from homeless shelters.
Oh,
so a lot of times it's not the same families every year.
Yeah.
Some are, you know, some aren't, but the teachers help identify, you know, with us what the need is. And, you know, for a while there was an organization that was doing coats, which is what leaned us into the boot side of it. The teachers do an assessment, so we know the sizes, the genders, that sort of thing. And we put an Amazon list together, and it gets filled instantly. It's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's great. And then we do a big Christmas party where the kids come.
For your clients?
For the school.
Oh, for the school. Oh,
for the
my
school,
God,
like
I
on
love
Saturday.
it.
So
Okay.
they come with their families, and you know, it's a pizza party. Santa Claus comes. They're able to actually shop for the boots that they want. So they go into a boot room that's kind of set up by gender and sizes. We've got personal shoppers that help them try them on, and it's great.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
you'll
amazing.
have to join us this year.
I will.
you
Like
will.
that. I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
So
It's the best day of the year. Our team would say that, hands down.
So I cannot wait. Like, I'm sitting to think about this event. You got to make sure to invite me.
Yes.
So you have your client database, right? So in addition to reaching out to your client database about all things real estate that you
Dorger,
reach out to
McCarthy,
them,
yep,
right?
yep.
You also reach out to them to say, hey, we're doing this amazing thing in the community.
Yes.
Come and help us do this thing.
Yeah.
And
And they answer in a huge way.
they show up and
Yep.
show out.
Yeah, they sure do. Which is so great. And, you know, some come and volunteer that day. Some bring their families. You know, we set up a room where the children can shop for a gift for their parents, and it gets gift wrapped for them on the spot, that they have something to give
God,
on,
that's
you know,
amazing.
Christmas morning, or however they, you know, choose to celebrate. But yeah, it's great.
I love it. I love that. So let's see. We've talked about open houses, your database a little bit. Why don't we talk about roles, right? So you and Sarah work together
We do.
as a team. You guys are partners in the team,
Yep.
right? You're also partners in life.
Correct.
Which I'm just like, I like kudos to that, because
People think we're crazy.
working with the spouse is like, I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk a little bit about like the roles that you guys play within the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we definitely two different approaches to, you know, everything. Sarah's definitely more on the creative side, marketing. She moves twice as fast as I do in anything that she does, but she does that so well, and she's so bubbly and just connects with people instantly, easily. I would say I kind of take more of the business side of things, kind of track the numbers, paperwork, you know, a little bit more of the boring stuff. But it works well together. We say we're the yin and the yang, and but we do it together. You know, all of our listing presentations we go on together.
Okay.
And we share the same database. And so, it's kind of two working it instead of one, but it works out for us. But to have that support is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And what you just described sounds ideal, right?
Yeah.
So those two, I wouldn't say personalities, those two, personalities, perspectives, that's kind of what you need in this business, right? You need someone that's going to be like, ooh, Excel spreadsheet,
Yeah.
right? Like let me get into it, and then
Right.
you also need someone to be like, okay, yeah, 20 showings today, no problem.
I
Like
know, exactly.
you got to have that. You got
do.
to have that. So you guys, yeah.
It is a lot. This
Yeah.
business is a lot. And, in the city, we show our own properties,
okay.
buyers and sellers. We do, at least, as a team. It takes time, and I think when you work for yourself, your doors are open 24/7 until you put the boundaries on it that work for you. But I think there's a lot to do here. But another reason we chose this industry is the sky's the limit. No one's going to tell you that you've hit your roof.
Amen. Yes.
So the opportunity is huge.
Yes, I agree.
And another thing too, we love this. You never live the same day twice. In 22 years, it doesn't feel like 22 years. You just, you probably know this too. You leave the house in the morning, you think you know what your day is, and you come home at night and you're like, well, there was 6 things that happened today I didn't know I was going to do. This showing I have tonight. I
Yes.
just said, can you print me out a listing sheet?
Yes.
It's just, I didn't know I was doing this today, but I'm going for it.
Yeah. And that's the mindset
Yes.
that you need to have in this business.
Yeah.
That is exactly the mindset you need to have in this business. Like, I'm
Flexibility.
all in. Yeah, you got to be able to pivot.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
So, do you guys, are there, once you get through the door at home, right, is it, you shut it off, like no more real estate, we're done? No?
I mean, you hope you can.
Yeah.
No, but I think we've gotten better at boundaries.
Okay, good.
I think, any agent, especially when you're newer, you're throwing everything at it, seeing what sticks. You're, doing things that you think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So, I think you get better at that. But at the end of the day, we're serving our clients. And if they have a active transaction going on or something, or there's a need, of course, we're going to pick up the phone when they call, and we're going to answer that. And the nice thing about being in business together is we understand what the other one's doing. If you have to take that call or whatever, you don't feel. That's where I think sometimes to be maybe the spouse of a agent can be tough sometimes, because you go on vacation and that's when you get busy. You
Yep.
come home at night, or you've got a date night, and I got to make one phone call before we go.
Yeah.
Type thing that just happens. So. But I think it works out, and yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Not
that's
resentful of it at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about it from that standpoint. There's a sense of understanding there, because it's like, what I'm going through. You're going through the same exact thing.
Yeah, can you cover for me?
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about, go back a little bit to new agents, right? So we have new agents getting into business. What are you seeing, or what do you think are some of the most common mistakes that new agents make?
And we've made this mistake, kind of over the years too. I think you need to know who your audience is. And I think that you need to know how they want to be communicated with. And, getting in the business, 22 years ago, is our database someone that's maybe been in it a while? Are they looking for us on a TikTok video? They're not. Are they? But that doesn't mean that another agent who's maybe just getting in the business and that's their genre, call it.
Yes.
So I think you have to, there was a period of time when video was coming out and we're like, oh my God, we're missing the boat. We're not doing video, whatever. But our database wasn't looking for us on video.
Yeah.
They were looking for us, in the communication and in the service and being in touch. And, so I think knowing who you are and knowing who your audience is will help you streamline to quickly get to the quality of who's in your database.
Yeah.
Easier to take care of the people that how you're in conversation and flow with.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hear that a lot when I ask that question, when people say, as far as like the common mistake, absolutely know who you're talking to, know who you want to talk to, but also I think, but you kind of touched on a little bit there, be your authentic self, like be you, right? And the people who are like you are going to find you.
Yes.
And they're going to transact with you because people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that instant gratification thing. And, you know, it doesn't happen that way. That's not the way this business works.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you're in it, you know, you also don't get in it for a short term, I don't think. You know, I think you get in it for the long game, and you're investing in yourself and you're investing in your database and you're building up that quantity, but it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
You know, relationships don't happen right away. You got to build trust. You got to, you know, people need to know that you're there. People need to know you've got the experience, and that all takes time. And I feel like when we got in, licensed in '04, really got moving in '06, by the time we got to '08, you know, wheels are moving a little bit, but then, you know, we had the down market. But we worked our tails off through that down market. There was business to be had. It was just different business.
Yeah.
People needed help. You know, you're meeting with people maybe they couldn't get out at the time. That's okay. You got to help people understand you've got their back. And, you know, maybe we do this, maybe we do this, maybe you rent it out and you go into a rental for a while, you know, whatever. You know, you just help people strategize, I think is, you know, the key, and just, you know, getting that experience as quick as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times I think for new agents coming into business as well, they're focused on the transaction, right? And they're focused on it being transactional. And like sometimes when you're consulting with your client or the consumer, and you're looking to help them out, there's not a transaction on the other end of it.
Right.
Sometimes you are looking at it and saying, hey, you need to stay here.
Yeah.
Like this is
not your moment.
This is not your moment, right?
Yeah.
You need to stay here, and just so I'm glad you said that. So in the market that we're in, you know, right now, with all of the things that are going on, right? I affectionately call it bizarro world, but looking at it, how are you advising your clients? Like, how are you preparing your clients for like the market that we're in right now, and let's say the next 12 months?
You know, it's tough out there right now. It is, you know, it's great to be a seller, but, you know, if you're buying at, you know, the top, what we think, you know, who knows? I thought a year ago we were at the top of the market.
Yeah.
But, you know, straddling that, you know, selling first, you know, buying, can you buy first? Can you sell? I mean, it's, you know, an emotional time, and, you know, multiple offers on everything. You know, which is crazy to me, but helping people understand what's at stake, and helping them, to your point, you know, is this your moment? Is this your time to go? And if it is, you know, you're with them 100%, but I think if you haven't been out in the market in a while, you got to get your people out. There's a little bit of an education.
Yes.
And getting people comfortable with what they're willing to give up, because that's how you're winning in this market, is you're giving up everything. And it's not super comfortable for people, and if that's not comfortable for you, then that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, type thing. And so, you know, financing's important, you know, because people have different strategies with that now too, and there's a lot of cash in the marketplace. I think there's a lot of generational wealth out there, parents stepping in and helping, and you know, it's a different time. It's a different, you know, beast out there. But I just think you gotta assure your people that you're in the trenches with them.
Yeah.
You know, 100%. We didn't really talk about this before, but something that, you know, made me think about this as you talk about newer agents. You know, I would say one of the most valuable things in our business is our reputation with other agents in the marketplace. And I think when you are starting in this business, you know, you might need the deal. Or you might need the transaction, but you know, you have to collaborate. It's not about winning. And as soon as you need to be the winner, you were going to be the loser very quick, over and over and over again. And I think you got to communicate with agents. You got to do your part. You have to educate your buyer, your seller, and it's a collaboration, you know, out there. But I think your reputation with other agents is huge in this marketplace, especially in multiple offers.
I agree.
People need to know you can get to the closing table.
I agree. Yeah, when agents are saying like they don't know, or they didn't follow up, or they haven't talked to the I'm like, you just had a rough transaction with a co-broker on the other side of this transaction. When it's all said and done, I'm like, you guys get together and go to breakfast.
Yes.
And go to lunch, or go to something, or do something. Get to know this person, this other human being on the other side of this transaction. Because if you're in the same marketplace, chances are your paths are going to cross again.
Yes.
Right. And like you said, your reputation is key. Yeah.
Well, it was nice. It's cute. Sarah just did a deal with someone, multiple offers, just a little bit hairy, just as a lot of them are now. But anyway, after the transaction closed, the agent called Sarah, left her the nicest voicemail, just saying it was so great to work with you. I know we had to work through some things, but just I learned from you. I hope we get the opportunity to work together again. And it was just this, glowing voicemail. And I know Sarah felt the same way back, about her. So to come upon each other again, they both know they can get it done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that is worth something.
It is so worth something.
Yeah.
And like you said, the next time you're looking through and you see her name,
Yeah.
right, on the listing,
Right.
you're going to say, hey, you know what? Let's go check this one out as well, right? Like I know this agent, right? This might be a good fit. This might be a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
I love
and
it.
we see sometimes, through people's marketing or whatever, you see an agent that you've worked with before and they have a great listing. You may not have a buyer for that, but shoot them a text and be like, congrats, that looks like a great listing. Good for you. I hope it goes well for you.
Yes.
You just be on the up and up in this business and it'll come back to you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so final thoughts.
Gosh, I think, no matter where you are in this business, you can be successful. No matter what the market is, you can be successful in it. And I just think, but you have to do the work. And you have to work the relationships of the people that you know and people in your database. You've got to work the agents. But show up and hold up your end of the deal, and stay involved. I think a lot of times too, sometimes agents get under contract and they turn it over to the attorneys and they kind of disappear. Mm-hmm. We stay involved through attorney review. We're in touch with those attorneys. Keep it moving. Just that's how you get it to the end. Be involved. We say to people when we meet with them for the first time, we're meeting with you today. We will be there with you at closing as well. We are with you every step of the way. People feel better when they know you're right there and they're being supported.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a great industry.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. Yeah,
I enjoyed this. I can't wait for the Christmas party.
Oh, good. Yes, we'll get you, in on that. But yeah, no, it's good. We have no complaints. We're very happy.
Awesome.